Today on Steve Rob Reviews, I'm going to review how exactly do you dry and store your sunflower seeds that you harvest in the fall. Check this out. Let's get to it right now.
Well, let's start off at this right here. This is ordinary mesh that you would get out of a screen door. And check these out. Can you hear that? You can actually hear when they're nice and dry. This took me a week to dry. I put them out in the driveway in the sun. And you can see the difference between the bottom of the wheelbarrow and here is a nice air gap. And I just let them be out here and dry nice. And then I harvest them and I seal them up. And I'll show you how I do that. And sunflower seeds, if you package them properly, are good for up to 5 years to plant in your garden.
Guys, it filled this bucket here. And there it is right there. Now, when you're trying to save your seeds, one thing I like to do is you really can't tell by looking at these seeds what's on them. There could be bugs, there could be you name it on the seeds themselves. I don't like to bring them inside the house the way they are. And in the last video I showed how I actually harvest the heads themselves, how I cut them off, and how I cut the plants off. If you want to put a link down below if you haven't seen that one before. But I'm going to show you the next step that you do with this. And I am going to plant these up at my off-grid cabin up in Northern Ontario, right across the whole back of the field. I think it's going to look terrific. The only thing I have to do now is work the ground up and plant the seeds. But I'm going to show you what I do, the last step, after I take all the seeds out of the seed head and then let them sit, like I said, for about a week in the sun. Now I use a wheelbarrow because it's easy, it's a big enough surface, and depending on the weather, you can wheel it in and out easy enough. You don't have to worry about if it's going to rain, how do you bring it all in. And it dries a lot better when you have this much of an air gap underneath your wheelbarrow, you know, with the mesh from like a screen door or that kind of mesh. You can get the aluminum like I have, or just go with the, I guess it's plastic or vinyl screening. But let's get to the storage part, and I'll show you exactly what I do. As easy as that. Okay guys, check it out. Look at this. Is that enough seeds for you or what? Guys, this is the only way to go with the vacuum sealer. I've been doing this for years and years with seeds. And you know what I was mentioning before about the bugs and everything else. Yes, you will get some specific type of bugs. Don't ask me which ones. But they will be on the outside and they will just hatch inside your house anyways. This way here eliminates the bugs. Keeps everything nice and fresh. Now I know some of you are going to say to me, Steve, why don't you just go and buy a big bag of birdseed, sunflower seeds that they sell, you know, in the stores in the fall for the birds? I've tried that. Hold on. Guys, I've tried that. And for some reason, they don't germinate. And I'm thinking the reason why is they probably process them in a big tumbler on a high heat to dry them fast, not like what I'm doing. And maybe it's something similar to like potatoes. I've seen quite a few fellas on YouTube trying to grow potatoes. They go to the store, they buy a bag of potatoes. They don't realize that a lot of them potatoes have been subjected to a chemical dip. Yes, they wash all the potatoes. You don't get potatoes with dirt on them, do you? But they're washed and then they subject them to a chemical dip to stop them from sprouting. You know, it's not toxic or anything. It's just to prevent them from sprouting in long-term storage. I don't know if they do this across the world everywhere, but in many places up here in Canada, yes, they do that for long-term storage so that they don't all sprout. So I'm thinking the same thing with the sunflower plants. I'd be interested to know if any of you have ever went to the store and bought a 50-pound bag of sunflower seeds and try and plant them. I've tried it, guys. They won't grow. So, you know, and I like doing it this way myself. Now, this particular brand of sunflowers that I got were called King Kong. Now, they're probably a hybrid. And whenever you take seeds from a hybrid, you're not guaranteed to get the same flower or plant. You know, it's going to be a sunflower plant, but it's not going to be exactly the same one, because a lot of sunflower plants and other plants are combined with other varieties to make, you know, one particular style of plant. Now, the sunflower heads that I had were about 14, 16 inches across, and it took about 12 to get this many. So I just picked the best ones, and the rest I just feed to the birds. So thanks for joining me here today, and I hope you found this interesting. And yeah, the vacuum sealer is the way to go. You guys take care now, eh? Cheers.